Jim Farmer, Georgia Voice. Hello, how are you two?
Hi, Jim.
Good
Nice to
talking.
meet you.
Nice to meet you too. So I enjoyed. I watched the film this week and I enjoyed it. Congratulations! But I understand this is based on something of a personal experience.
Yeah, we were in the adoption process as a couple, and right before we were set to have our child, we were going on our 10th anniversary trip to Italy, and on the night of our anniversary, Brian directed me off the side of the road in the pitch pouring rain, and we got stuck there for about 5.5 hours. And in that time, we were able to kind of discuss how wonderful this would be as a horror film. Yeah, so we pulled out Final Draft and just wrote it right there. Yeah.
I'm assuming there were no corpses and bloodletting. And
Assume away, Jim. We're not going to hold you again.
We will not answer.
Yeah.
so, when was this trip?
This was right before the pandemic.
Okay.
Yeah, so our son was born, and then the pandemic 3 months later, the pandemic hit. So we're kind of stuck in the house, and we thought, oh, we might as well write this down now because we got nowhere else to be.
Yeah.
There's certainly some unexpected moments in this, so congratulations. So why Andrew and Nick? Why did you think they were the best people for this project?
Well, so much of it is like vibe, and you're like, who do I love? Like, who do I love to watch, and who do you think you could put in kind of any situation and they would still be interesting and funny in those kind of like heightened moments? And so we cast Andrew first, and we had also at the same time heard this podcast where Nick was talking about becoming a father and his kind of fear, of everything that can go wrong in that process really matched our fear in the same thing. And we're like, oh, and then they had worked together so much and love each other as people. It just felt like really organic to have them work together.
Had you worked with either of them before?
We knew each other socially, but we had never worked together. No.
Okay. I was reading something earlier this morning. I really responded to it. The take was basically, are these two privileged gay men, or are they just doing whatever they can with their baby to get their baby? It seems like obviously this is a love letter to yourself, but sort of talk about their love for getting a child and how that influences the rest of the film.
Sure. I mean, I think that both of us had wanted children for so long, and especially the age we are when we were kids, like I didn't understand how that would be possible.
Yeah.
And so, like as different things started to open up, and as I grew up, it became clear that we could do it, and it was something that was really foundational to our relationship as humans, just being like, oh, we both want to be dads, and there is sort of no more basic kind of food, water, have children. It was like feels like kind of like basic desires, and so it made sense that it would make these characters, no matter what they wanted to do, no matter what they did in the movie and how horrible decisions that they make, it's still very relatable to like a broad audience that yeah, they just want to get back and have this kid.
Can you talk about working together as a gay couple?
Wait, you're gay?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No.
It was wonderful. We have a very similar humor, and so we kind of always play the same joke, and so it was really nice to have an ally that I completely and utterly trusted through the entire process. Also, because we're a couple, it was a really nice. Usually as a couple, Brian always says this, usually as a couple, you only get to see the things that they do at the finish line. You only get to see the final product. And so it was really wonderful for us to both see each other at work, succeeding in the moment. That it's a rarity that you get to actually do that.
Can you talk about the tone of the film? Because there are some dark moments in the film, but I mean, it is very character driven. You do really care about these two, and it does manage to have a little dark moments, but obviously sustain its comedy. But sort of talk about the challenge of doing all that.
I mean, so much of it, I think, is just the things we've talked about already, like having Nick and Andrew, who are people that you love to watch,
Yeah.
and then having the characters be rooted in some real strong desire, and also spending a lot of time in the beginning of the movie setting that up and setting up their relationship allows you to really invest in them. And then once we knew that once we started on set, seeing how good they were together and how much we were sort of bought in at monitor, just like, yeah, like we're with these guys, then we were like, oh, let's push it. Like, let's make it as funny as we can, and let's make it as scary as we can. And the tone will sort of like resolve itself in a cool way. So just like having great partners allows you to really like push and play, play as hard as you can.
Also shoot it as a horror movie. Our DP, our DP is really great at suspense. Our composers are amazing at suspense. So shooting it as a horror movie and then inflicting that with the comedy of such geniuses playing those parts, I think is a really fun way to set the tone, and always be sure that it'll work.
Okay. So final question. Walk me through a little bit about distribution, and congratulations on getting this distributed out in theaters, all over the country. But so you premiered this, I think it's South by Southwest.
Yep.
But when did you find out that Vertical was going to be taking this and getting it out to the world?
I mean, they had been after it for a while, which was great. And, obviously you figure out your way through those offers when they come in. And, we're just thrilled to have, first of all, like an original movie at all, but then an original movie with gay characters in theaters is like a huge challenge, and so to be kind of nationwide with it is really exciting for us, and feels like a huge win.
Yeah, that's all I have. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. This was really nice.
I appreciate it.
Hey, Jim.
Thanks a lot.